great to have Lauren in studio. How you doing, Lauren?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you make it through Snowmageddon across the way from the annex? It's crazy out there today, right?
I know. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, school's going to be interesting today for everybody. Practice, but you guys got to put in that work because you have a huge week with Portland and Gonzaga. You certainly have a chance to, make the best seed you can going into Vegas. What does this week mean, given you have the top two teams in the league coming to Provo?
Yeah, like you said, it's huge. I think these two games we've been looking forward to kind of all season, because we had our first conference 2 games, and I feel like at that time we weren't really prepared and, hadn't really come together yet as a team. So I think we're excited to be able to play them again, especially at our home, and kind of have that advantage. And yeah, hopefully be able to pull off 2 wins going into the tournament. So
it'd be huge. And I expect the crowds to be huge as well. Come out to the Marriott Center Thursday night, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, Saturday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, both those on BYU TV, of course. That was a weird setup at the beginning of conference play, by the way. A Saturday and a Monday. Certainly playing on a Monday, unique to BYU. You guys don't practice Sunday. It doesn't mean you don't, talk and scheme, but you're not getting out on the court putting up shots. How difficult was that, and how much more prepared do you feel this week, given you are a different team and you have more days to prepare?
Yeah. It definitely was difficult on Sunday. We kind of couldn't really do a whole lot. We walked through some other stuff in the hotel room and went over film. But I feel like this week we're definitely a lot more prepared. We've kind of been able to go back and watch our game against them at the start of the season and be able to kind of reassess what we need to work on. And then, like you said, we have more days to get ready for them. So I feel like we're mentally and physically a lot more prepared.
Portland's got one of the best players in the league, Alex Fowler. Is that a matchup that you sort of look forward to, given kind of how similar your games are that way? Yeah,
she's a great player, really smart, really physical, knows the game super well. So, she's also very humble and she works hard. So it's fun to play against someone, that's just really puts in the work. So I'm excited. She's a great player. So
an Australian that didn't go to St. Mary's, one of the rare ones in the league. With a player like that and other players, are you talking during the game with opponents? Like some players do, some players don't. What are you like?
I wish I could talk trash, but
I'm not even talking trash. I'm just saying talking.
Just in general, I wish I could. But I feel like I'm during the game. I get so locked into what I need to do that I can't even talk a whole lot. So I'm talking with my girls, but not really a whole lot of conversation with other players. Sometimes on the free throw line we'll just chat about little small things here, but nothing really crazy.
Is it always game centric? Is it ever non-get a funny thing did you see that?
Sometimes we'll talk. Sometimes I'll get weird questions about BYU on the free throw line.
From the opponent?
Yeah. Just questions and things they have about BYU, can you swear here, and just stuff like that. Just funny random things.
You're like, yes, don't get caught.
Just funny things like that.
What else do they ask you?
They asked me if I like BYU.
You're like, no, I hate it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, and just kind of the weather and just random things here and there, where we get our shoes or just my favorite thing about camp is just weird stuff like that, mid free throw line, but it's always fun, good conversation.
Does that ever break up sort of the focus there? Because you seem like you said you're focused. You're like, I'm just trying to get a rebound here. I don't want to talk about my Nike whatever.
I think if anything, it kind of relaxes me a little bit, just because sometimes I do get so focused that I'm kind of not necessarily not enjoying, but I'm so dialed in that I can't really breathe for a second. So when someone asks me a question like that, it's kind of just makes me realize we're playing a game.
You forget sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
We're talking with Lauren Gustin on BYU Sports Nation. Who on the team is the person who, yes, they're still focused, but they are sort of having fun with sort of conversational or funny in the game? Who on the team is sort of that person?
Yeah. I think what's fun about our team is a lot of girls are like that. A lot of us are, having a good time, laughing, but then when the lights come on, we're dialed in. I think Smiler's a good example. She's always dancing and having a good time, but then she can focus up real quick and get, really dialed in. But I think that's one thing I really like about our team is all of us kind of can have that fun time and but also be able to be dialed in when it's time to go. So
I feel like Kaylee Smiler could be the Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
The BYU women's basketball
Yeah.
team, given her ability to dance, which we saw in her debut.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, she's a great dancer. She's always in the weight room too. We're always listening to music, and she's always just throwing in little moves here and there between sets. So
it's fun to have two Kiwis on the team. There have been a few over the years. Chalet Salmon comes to mind, among others. How does kind of their New Zealand and specifically Maori culture, does that ever make its way onto the court with the team in any way, in your opinion? Because we kind of saw that in Kaylee's Deep Blue, what her Maori culture means to her.
Yeah. I think just everything that Smiler stands for in general just kind of shows.
She's Smiler to you guys?
Yeah, we call her, Kaylee Smiler, yeah. I think just kind of shows through her personality. She's very, I feel like she carries her culture very well. And so she's always like, it's fun and a great example to kind of listen to and learn things from her. So her and Ari are both super great people to be around. So yeah, I would say their cultural carries for sure. It's fun to be able to have different cultures and people from different countries and stuff kind of come together. So
yeah, on the women's team, it's New Zealand. On the men's team, there's 3 players from Africa.
Yeah.
It's cool to have those different cultures and customs and languages, which is fun. We buried the lead here, but congratulations on setting the single-season record in the WCC in rebounding. What did that mean to you?
It's a great honor. Fortunately, couldn't pull out the win, the day that things happen like that. So, but yeah, no, I'm excited. It's been fun to be able to play in the WCC and be able to get that our last year being here. So.
Did you, before the season, have any specific goals relative to rebounding? Because certainly you've been an awesome rebounder before. You've taken a step forward. Was there a sort of a written goal for you this year to kind of take that next step, or is this just a natural evolution? I
would say the start of this year, Coach Amber had us all kind of write our own personal goals. And one of them for sure was average double-double and to be in the top rebounder. So I didn't necessarily have like 1 or 2 in the top, as far as like listing, but I knew I wanted to kind of be up there. So I think that, it's going, good so far, but I just gotta keep it up because I just want to get wins at the end of the day. So
if there's ever a game where you don't have like 15 rebounds or something, are you disappointed, or do you look and go, oh, we shot 50%. There were fewer. Yeah. Or the other team made some shots or whatever.
I mean, if we're shooting well, then I'm happy, just whatever that takes. But some games when both teams are making, a lot of shots, it's definitely harder to get boards. But if we're shooting well, I'm happy with it. So.
You're 23 rebounds away from the single-season BYU record, which was set by all-timer Tina Gunn Robinson in 1979 and 80. She's walking around campus, so is Danny Ainge at that point. That's how long it's been. 23 rebounds. What would that mean? What will that mean to you when you break that record, perhaps Thursday night, or it seems like Saturday?
Yeah. Well, she's a legend. I feel like she, carries all sorts of records around here. So it's great to be able to compete against someone like that for, a record. I think, breaking it will be exciting. Definitely a big accomplishment, but.
Okay, in your Deep Blue, which we're going to air later in the show, and it came out yesterday, your dad kind of talks about, well, to get in some of the young games with your older brothers and your sister and whatnot, you had to rebound. That was the thing you had to do. Is that where it started for you, where rebounding sort of became a thing that you did well? Yeah,
I would say I think that was like one of the only really ways that I could kind of get in there and compete with them, so I kind of had to. So I think at that age I kind of grew a love for just rebounding and try to contribute in ways that I could to be able to get on the court.
And in the Deep Blues, you'll see you've been on quite the journey. Multiple high schools, multiple state titles, Idaho, Salt Lake Community College, BYU. What has it kind of taken for you to get to this point in terms of the adversity you've overcome to get to where you are? Because I think people maybe look and they go, oh, the leading rebounder. Life's maybe been easy for her. It's been nothing but, it feels like.
It's definitely been, up and down, and there's been times where, I was close to giving up and then, kind of kept going, and a whole kind of array of journey that I went through. So I think all those different steps kind of, made me who I am today and kind of made me appreciate things more and want to, work harder and fight for things more, just because I know that it did take me, a couple different directions to get where I am. But I wouldn't, change it for, really anything, because I feel like if I went straight from high school straight to BYU. I don't know if I would, maybe have the same work ethic or drive or kind of motivation behind that.
And when you say, maybe would have given up, like not play college basketball, was that an option at some point?
Yeah,
for
no,
you
definitely.
mentally?
Yeah, after Idaho before, so like I was in a tough spot where I didn't know if I wanted to continue playing, or at that point, because this is before the transfer portal was a thing or any of that. So I was kind of in a weird situation because it was end of semester. Like I couldn't just go to another D1, and I couldn't really even talk to other schools at that point either because of all the NCAA rules and stuff. So I was put in like a really weird position of, do I just want to go home and finish the semester just online and then figure out if I wanted to play after that, or just go straight to a JUCO and try to grind that out and figure out from there where to go. So.
And you end up going to Salt Lake Community College, and you mentioned in the Deep Blue you were offered even before the season started.
Yeah.
You did, like Spencer Johnson went through something similar, but he had to sort of earn his way into something. Did that give you the confidence to play any different, knowing, oh, BYU still wants me, like I'm still wanted at a high level?
Yeah, I think it definitely gave me some confidence going into that season, just knowing that I was still wanted by other schools, and just kind of helped me find out like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, like this is kind of who I am, and that's like was just it's part of the path to get to BYU. So it also kind of helped me play more relaxed and not like, oh, I need to prove myself to these schools that I'm worthy to go back to D1. So
yeah, I can imagine getting that before the season's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah,
it's gonna be okay. Now, and part of what's been so enjoyable about sort of the Deep Blue is humanizing athletes. I think we kind of act like once you get to a point of success, like everything's good. You're not dealing with anything anymore, which is not true. You're still dealing with different things or similar things. You're just sort of suppressing that in some way maybe, or overcoming. What are you still kind of battling against to still be the leading rebounder in the country?
Yeah, I definitely, I get anxious before games, nervous, I think that's definitely normal. But I think also just trying to, deal with, everything outside of life too, your social life and, everything spiritual and mental and physical and all that stuff. Just trying to have a good balance and trying to have like a healthy balance. I feel like not trying to put too much into one thing. But I think, that's definitely something that a lot of, athletes deal with, is just trying to balance life. And then I think sometimes too, just having like time for just like myself, where I can kind of decompress and whatnot. And I think that's where the weight room comes in huge for me, just because that is kind of an outlet where I can relax and decompress, because your mind's always going with game plans and basketball and what school assignments you got to get in.
Oh, by the way, school.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. So yeah, but luckily, and with BYU having all the resources we have around me, and having teammates that go through the same thing, and having great coaches to like call and talk to all the time about really anything, has been such a big blessing here. So,
word of advice sounds like find a decompression thing that helps you get better at something you're good at already. Because the weight room being a decompression thing and not a sort of I don't want that.
Yeah.
That probably helps a ton, I'd imagine. Because for some people, I guess for me, I'm thinking, what's my decompression thing? Like watching TV or movies or reading a book. But it'd be helpful if I was like practicing broadcasting.
Yeah, yeah. Well, sometimes it's not the best decompress because I want to go like hard, but my body like I'm exhausted or tired.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I can't really get the most out of it that I want at that moment. But I have to like be patient and be like I'm sore from practice and games and stuff. So
yeah. So it's not always like yay the weight room.
Yeah, because it's not.
Gotcha.
Sometimes it's not the smartest thing for me to go if I'm not feeling good. But like that's what I want to do, just because that is a decompression for me. But sometimes I gotta try to be smart about it. But
well, awesome. Thanks for coming in the studio, and thanks for doing the Deep Blue. I think people that haven't seen it will really enjoy it. And again, that's coming up later in the program. Thanks.
Yeah, they did great on it. Thank you.